Hello and welcome to another video from Minus Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that's now quite old, has become quite collectible, and is becoming increasingly more difficult to find in any condition. We are looking at the 1998 release by Kenner from their series of Star Wars Epic Force statues or figurines. And this particular one we are looking at today is of none other than the rebel Wookiee himself, Chewbacca. And this figure is all based on the original Star Wars movie. And we all know Star Wars, or as it became retitled later, Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. It's an American epic space opera film. It was written and directed by George Lucas and produced by his production company Lucasfilm Limited, and it was released by 20th Century Fox. And it's the first film in the Star Wars franchise and the fourth chronological chapter of the Skywalker saga. It is set in a fictional galaxy under the rule of the tyrannical Galactic Empire. And the film follows a group of freedom fighters known as the Rebel Alliance, and they aim to destroy the Empire's ultimate weapon, which is the Death Star. When the rebel leader, Princess Leia Organa, is captured by the Empire, Luke Skywalker acquires the stolen archaeological plans of the Death Star and sets out to rescue her while learning the ways of a power known as the Force from the old Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. So all-star cast include Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford as Han Solo, Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia, Peter Cushing as Grand Moff Tarkin, Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anthony Daniels first outing as C-3PO, Kenny Baker, again, first outing as R2-D2, and Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. And of course, you had Dave Prowse, who played Darth Vader, and it was voiced by the late, great James L. Jones. Now, the movie ran for about 2 hours. Its budget to produce the movie was $11 million. And it took at the box office $775.4 million. So just a little bit of return on the movie. But of course, it also spawned an awful lot of merchandise back in the 70s. And when the prequel trilogy was announced in the 1995 or 1996, I think it was, the original 3 movies were then remastered and with extra special effects and returned to the big screen, and they aired between 97 and 98, I think. And obviously, as the return to the big screen, they again produced a colossal amount of merchandise based on the original trilogy film for the second time. And part of that merchandise that was released was the Epic Force series of statues or figures. And I think there are 6 in the series. And this particular one we're looking at today is of Chewbacca. And this is the item in front of us. So it says at the top, Star Wars Epic Force. And it's got rotate figure 360 degrees. So it's Chewbacca at the bottom there. And I think that's it on the front. So what we're going to do now, we're going to spin the box around and see what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I'll turn the box around and this is what we got on the back. It says Chewbacca. Whoa. So cries the brave and mighty Chewbacca as his blaster rifle flashes forth with fearsome laser blasts. Trapped inside the Imperial Death Star with Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, he is forced to open fire against a group of Imperial soldiers. In a brilliant charade, Stormtrooper-clad Han Solo and Luke Skywalker disguised Chewbacca as their prisoner and made their way to detention block AA-23. There they hope to find and rescue Princess Leia of Alderaan, one of the primary leaders in the Rebel Alliance. But while escorting the 2-meter tall Wookiee to the cell block, a suspected Imperial officer interrogates the trio, leaving the crew no choice but to start blasting. In a flash, the detention block erupts into a furious battle, while Imperial soldiers and observation cameras fall prey to the rebel assault. The Force is with you in all the Star Wars Epic Force figures, so 3 others in the series. You got Princess Leia Organa, captured by Darth Vader on Bespin Cloud City. The Princess witnesses the freezing of Han Solo in Carbonite, but with Lando Calrissian's help, Princess Leia and her band of freedom fighters may make their escape yet. Stormtrooper, members of the Empire's elite shock troops. A small cache of stormtroopers escort a captured band of rebels through the corridors of Cloud City. And Han Solo, this is no place in the galaxy from which escape is more difficult than the Imperial Death Star. But Corellian-born pirate and smuggler Han Solo has determined to reach his beloved Millennium Falcon and overcome the odds. And then at the bottom you've got the Kenner and the Hasbro information, the licensing and what have you, barcode as well. Okay, that's the back of the box. Now, let's turn it back round to the front and let's have a look at the figure itself. Okay, I've zoomed right in on the figure, and it's not the clearest of images, I have to say, because the bubble is discoloured somewhat, and there's some cracking and damage to the bubble, which is not unsurprising considering the age of these items, and they were prone for these bubbles to discolour and crack, and this one's no exception to that. But it is still sealed, and Chewbacca is still on there, and I am rotating the wheel, which I'll show you what I'm doing in a moment, but I just wanted you to see him all the way around. Now, this is a static figure. There's no movement on these figures. They literally only move by you rotating the wheel at the bottom. Now, you can hear that squeaking, which is where I am rotating the wheel, and I'll show you that in a little bit more detail in a moment. There we have, that is Chewbacca. Now, I'm sorry I can't get you a really good view of the figure because of the bubble and the damage to the bubble. It's really not very clear at all. But there you can see the wheel, which does rotate the figure. And if I zoom back out and I'll show you again, if I turn the wheel, that's what the squeaking is. You can see Chewbacca. Oops, the Epic Force label has dropped. Let's just try and move that. And what I'm going to do, in actual fact, is take that out, because then we might have a little bit of a better view of Chewbacca without that being in the way. And in actual fact, because the bubble is broken at the top, let's have a look at him through the top of the bubble. Yeah, there he is, and now he's looking very, very good. Let's turn the wheel again, and you can see him in a much clearer detail now, looking through the top of the box where it's cracked. And there we are, just rotating him. He's holding his blaster rifle there. He does look, really does look the part. I mean, these are lovely, lovely figures. I say it is a shame that this box is broken a little bit, but they are, nevertheless, they are absolutely fantastic. And you do have that backdrop on the back there, which shows you Chewbacca holding that blaster rifle. And yeah, I mean, I think that backdrop can come out and you can display it. I don't know if this is, so it is beginning to come away, but if I can just open that up, you can see, let's just zoom out a bit, you can see the backdrop behind the bubble there where it's coming away. So you could take the bubble off and just have the figure displayed on the bubble itself. I mean, that's what I would do. I have got a few of these in my display, and I've kept them on the plinth with the display at the back, but I did remove the bubble on them, and they do look absolutely fantastic on display. But like I say, they certainly don't do anything other than rotate on that base by turning the wheel. As you can see, this one needs a little bit of an oiling, I think, because it's got a bit squeaky over the years. But there we are. But overall, fantastic figure. Now, I just want to get a measurement of the figure itself. So the figure itself, we're looking at, what is that, about 17 centimeters, which equates to 7 inches. So he's 7 inches tall. He measures about 7 centimeters across, and depth wise around about 5 or 6 centimeters if you look at the area where his handcuffs have burst off his wrist. So, but overall I do think these figures are very, very well made, even though they are static. As I say, there's no articulation or anything like that, but they do look absolutely incredible, and I really think they are. I think they're a lot more praise than what they actually got at the time. So, but sadly, as I say, quite a lot of these figures have suffered with the bubble breaking, cracking, discolouring, and that's all due to age, and obviously the plastic that was used back in the day has not sustained the test of time. But we are talking 27 years since this was produced, so it's hardly surprising that it's got to have some faults. I mean, they're not all like this. Some of the other ones we have in stock are still crystal clean, perfect, and they were a boxed shop stock. We've got a few of these that were damaged, which were, I believe, were display items, and where they've been thrown back into the stock room, things put on top of them in a box, and they've all started to crack, and sunlight has obviously caused the bubble to discolour. But other than that, though, the figure itself, you take the bubble off, the figure itself is in mint condition. I say the display behind them still looks absolutely fantastic, but you will need to remove the bubble to keep it looking as good as it is standing on that plinth. Okay, how well did these do back in 1998, I hear you ask? Well, yep, I mean, like all the Star Wars stuff, when the films returned to the big screen, spawned a lot of merchandise, and merchandise went crazy. These particular figures, they didn't do as well as I think they had hoped they was going to do. But then these were bigger than the standard figures that were being re-released. The most common figures being released were the 4-inch ones. And in comparison, these are the 7-inch ones. So I've got a 4-inch figure here, which I would just stand next to Chewbacca here. Well, I say 4 inches, 3 3/4 inch, and you can see that Chewbacca is really twice the size of the Stormtrooper. So these were the standard figures that everybody was buying. These ones were not so much, and because there was no articulation on these figures, they didn't sell as well as they were anticipated to. Although I think they're absolutely fantastic, and in a display they do look absolutely incredible. I don't have Chewbacca in my display. I do have the Stormtrooper, Han Solo and Luke Skywalker in my display, and they look absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure I'm very tempted in actual fact to take one of these home and add him into my display, but there we are. That's something that I have to consider whether I should do or not. Okay, so yes, they've done reasonably well, but not as well as I think they could have done had they been advertised or promoted a different way. Okay, let's move forward then 27 years to 2025, which is where we are today. Do these figures appear very often on the platforms? Well, yeah, I mean, they do pop up from time to time on the platforms. They still do, in various different states of condition. A lot of them are like this with a broken bubble, the cracked bubble. Some of them don't even have a bubble on them. Some of them are just the figure on the stand. But then you've also got the ones that are in pristine condition, where the bubble hasn't broken or discoloured at all. So you can pick, depending on what you're looking for. I mean, for me, I would buy one like this because I would take the bubble off and display it without the bubble, and that would be fine for me. But if you want to buy one and keep it in the bubble, then this one's no good for you. You'd need to find one that's got the clear bubble undamaged. So yes, they do come up for sale on platforms, various different states of condition, and always say just be a bit careful if you buy on the platform, because somebody's idea of very good condition could be somebody else's idea of acceptable condition. There's a big scope of differences there between people's opinions, so that's something to watch out for. And also, some of the platforms use stock images and stock descriptions, so you could be looking at a pristine mint condition item thinking that's what you're about to order, but if they don't have new in stock, it automatically goes to the cheapest used item, and it could be one, well, it could be one like this. It could be one where there's no bubble. It could be just a figure on its own. So if it doesn't say new there and it says use, click that use button and read what you are about to order. Otherwise, you will be disappointed when it arrives. And it's not the seller's fault and it's not the buyer's fault. It is purely down to the way the platforms work. A bit stupid if you ask me, but that is the way they've been designed. Anyway, you don't need to go through all that rigmarole. You can come straight to us at Midas Touch Toys Games Collectibles, where what you see in front of you is exactly the item you will receive should you wish to order it. And this particular item is no different to that. And as of today, it is available to purchase on the Midas Touch website. Now, if we have different conditions on these items, they are listed under different product codes. So you will not be able to order something you're not looking at the time of order. So that they can't be mixed up. You can't be confused and order something that you don't think you're ordering. So to get to the website, very simply click the link below. It will take you straight there where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Wars items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody. And I'm absolutely positive this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful vintage Star Wars Epic Force Chewbacca action figure with me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next video. So bye for now.